Hola a todos, bienvenidos y gracias por acompañarnos hoy en este evento en vivo. Mi nombre es Alexia y soy la gerente de programas de Microsoft Reactor Toronto. Compartiré recursos de la sesión con ustedes en el chat, pero antes de comenzar, quisiera repasar 2 puntos, el código de conducta y las pautas del evento. Primero, por favor, revisen nuestro código de conducta. En Microsoft Reactor queremos un ambiente respetuoso para todos, tanto audiencia como presentadores. Animamos a participar en el chat, pero por favor comenten con profesionalismo y manténganse en el tema. Además, nuestras pautas del evento indican que esta sesión se está grabando y estará disponible en el canal de YouTube de Microsoft Reactor en 24 a 48 horas. Compartiré el enlace en el chat para nuestro contenido bajo demanda. Y si no han estado en una transmisión en vivo en YouTube antes, tengan en cuenta que deben crear una cuenta en YouTube para tener acceso e interactuar en el chat. Pueden hacerlo ahora y si no pueden usar el chat pero tienen preguntas, no duden en contactarnos por redes sociales o en nuestro sitio web. Y sin más preámbulos, presentemos a nuestro orador de hoy.
Hello, welcome to the AI 900 certification program, Artificial Intelligence Fundamentals by Human in Azure AI. I am Jacqueline Ramos and I am part of Human in Azure AI leadership team. This program was created by the Homemakers Code and the Tech Human community in collaboration with Microsoft experts. It is open to the entire community to learn the fundamentals of artificial intelligence, chatbots, machine learning, and the generative AI. The program includes 8 live classes, completely free in English, and required proof of participation at the end of the program. Requirements for proof of attendance. To receive your certificate, follow 2 steps. First, attend the live classes or watch the recordings between May 60 and 29. Second, complete the keynote texts until May 31. Each week after the second class, you have access to a quiz to reinforce what you have learned. When did you earn the AI 900 certification? There are additional 30 steps. Complete the Cloud Skills Challenge before May 31. You have access to a free Microsoft Learning Path with hands-on AI labs. The 100 most committed students, you received a voucher for the AI 900 certification free of charge. Good luck with your studies. See you soon. Hello everyone! Welcome back to another session of the Human in Azure AI program. I am Jacqueline Ramos and I am part of the program's leadership team. And today we have a very special session where we will have valuable insights on leadership in AI area. And please welcome the Victor. Victor here. Okay. Victor, thank you again for your availability to be with you today.
Excellent, Jacqueline. Thank you for having me today. Really excited to be in this conference.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have an excellent session, everyone.
Fair enough. So thank you all for joining and monitoring here our channel in YouTube. So I hope that you are connected into our YouTube channel so you can interact with us. The idea today is going to just learn something, get some information here that we believe is relevant when you want to be not only in technology, but you want to be a leader in technology. And with everything that is going on in our these last few years, there is so many opportunities that we're going to be talking today. But we want to see some movement on the chat right there in the channel. I see some people celebrating from where they are connecting, so that's great. If you can tell us from where are you connecting, that's great for us to know, have an idea of where are we having impact with this kind of conversations. I'm really proud to be supporting this initiative. We want to have not only more female professionals in technology. We want to have them leading the way in technology. And it's not just because it's important and it's not just because it's fair, it's because it's absolutely relevant in order to be successful and to cover all the different angles of needs that we currently have today. So I see people from Atlanta, people from Nigeria, people from Italy. Share about this with your network later on. It's going to be a recording of this session, so it's consumable. And I'm going to be giving you a few things that you can do with the family later on as well. But before I jump into the topic that you can see right there in the slide, leading in the age of AI, people, growth, and generative intelligence. And why I'm going with these topics, because I know that you are all doing significant efforts to get technically savvy, to have that technical capabilities and understand technological products better and better every time. This endeavor to get your EI 900 certification, which is the first step to many other steps you're going to be able to take. And you are going to see how this first one is probably the catalyzer for all the rest of successes that you are going to be having. Learning in deep about the technology is really critical in order to take advantage of that. But then what I want to see in the chat is, okay, I saw from where are you coming, but are you prepared to be a leader? Are you looking to be a leader in tech, wherever you live, or even moving to a different location later on in your career? Is that something that you are trying to embrace? And you can tell me in the chat, is that something that you are looking for? Do you feel that you are a leader? Because that's what everything starts, right? We have to vocalize it. We have to say what we are looking for. The universe works in ways that we don't understand really, right? So it's not this a class to explain how things happens. But yes, if something I can tell, and well, happens to be that I'm the speaker for today, our session. So many of the thoughts that I'm going to be transmitting are my own thoughts in certain way. And I do believe in vocalizing. I do believe in manifesting what you want. We cannot really be too worried about things that we cannot control, things that are going to be too ahead into the future. But yes, we can worry about the things that are happening today, right now, at this moment. And all of you made the decision to stay here connected with us today to learn about artificial intelligence. All of you has choose by your own desire that you want to get this new skill into your pocket. And that's something that we have to applaud about each of us individually, because that's the first step. You have to be obsessed about it. The only way that we humans excel in something is when we get obsessed about that, because we are all capable. That's the beauty of humans, right? We are all capable. If you want to be a musician, if you want to be a chef, if you want to be an artist, if you want to be a writer, if you want to be a coder, if you want to be a manager, if you want to be an outstanding performer, all of those things can be learned by a human. We just need dedication on it, right? You obsess about it and then you master it, because that's the way how the brain goes. So that first decision on investing in your own self is critical. But it's critical now more than maybe ever before. And let me take you to this image right here. That this is a really interesting image. If you see, this one image is from 900s, so is the Fifth Avenue in New York, and you can see it in one of your sides. The other image is for 1913. That means 13 years later on, the same avenue right there. And we can all kind of say in the chat what we're seeing there, right? I mean, in one of the images, only horses are carrying these cars going through the most powerful avenue in the planet, maybe at the time, and even today could be, right? But that iconic region of the planet that for us is impossible to kind of imagine it like that, only a few 125 years ago was horses and cars being carried by those. That was the reality. That was the reality of the business then. That was around the Fifth Avenue and many places in New York. There were places in where you can fix the shoes of the horse, right? And get those replacements going on. And that was the business, cleaning the streets. That was the business. But if you see, only 10 years and a little after, the whole thing changed forever. This is more likely, and not even what we see today, but more likely to what we know. Cars all around. And you can see that one horse only was there 10, 13 years later. That's transformation. There is moments in time in all the different eras that we as humans has passed through that there is change that generate absolute transformation all around them. And for those that were maybe fixing the horse's shoes and trying to do business with that, you can tell, oh boy, right? Now we have cars. Now what is going to happen? Now I'm going to lose my business. Now all my skills managing the metals and managing the horses are not going to be valuable. I don't know how many fears, how many uncertainty, how many doubts were around those in the horse business back then, without knowing that those real estates that they own later on become great spots to have gas stations, to have places to make change oil, to do maintenance to the vehicles later. Yes, they were not really replaced. They were evolved to something new, to something different. But the advantages of being there first, being already in the market, having already a name right there, pay off really well, and people evolve. Many of them, they sell what they have and they went somewhere else looking for something new, but they sell something around New York. So can you imagine that change only 100 years ago? And in a lapse of 10 years, the whole picture changed. Of course, for us, things are changing even faster than that. And that's why that today we're going to be focusing the rest of the time that we have in three simple things. There is 4 points about generative AI and Copilot that I want us to discuss, because as leaders, as people that is looking to be people managers, you are going to be responsible for people grow, for people performance, for your own performance, for understanding the business that you are part of, and what Copilot can do for you under this schema of generative AI is pretty relevant and life changer. And there is 4 things that we are looking to transmit to executives when we talk to them about Copilot. And this is exactly what we're going to be talking to you, the next CFO, CSOs, and any C level, D level that you want to be part of in your organizations. The second is I want to show you Copilot. I believe that the best thing about to understand what is the power of generative AI, if you didn't have the chance to do it by yourself, then this is going to be a momentum to understand what is it. So I'm going to be running some live demos, like live. We're going to be doing it together. So I believe that that's kind of interesting to kind of open the mind and understand the big picture of what is it. And then I have a little experience for us to do in some minutes right there. So that's the plan today on what we are looking to learn. The first point that I want us all on this call to have clarity is, what is it that we are talking when we said artificial intelligence? What is that we have access now with these new capabilities? It's some sort of, living organic digital creature that we have in a data center somewhere. That is not really, right? It is a Skynet and all this connectivity of things looking to destroy humanity. It is not like that. It's a living organism that is going to be reacting to you, accompanying you in any way like that. Not really. What it is a large language model in where you can send a human natural language query and a statement, and then it's going to complete that with some output from the big model right there. And it's so well done, that works as a beauty. Whatever context you provide to Copilot, whatever information you are looking for to investigate, whatever that you're looking to create, to co-design, to co-analyze, to co-produce, to everything that you can do with somebody that co-assists you, doing anything and everything that we do is what a large language model facilitates. But they at itself is only data. They don't have a purpose. It doesn't have a purpose, doesn't have a drive. We can program triggers. We can program different things. We use it. We master it. We are the pilots. It's not replacing anybody. It's amplifying us all. Because whatever we introduce, if it's something smart, if it's something useful, if it's something of good, then it's going to bring great results in comeback when that prompt gets completed. And we're going to be talking about prompts in a second. But understanding that piece is critical, because then the magical part kind of gets removed of it, right? The myths and the bias that we can have about it start kind of disappearing, because it's not more that a large language model. We started the commercial large language model of the GPT family of it, for example. That is the one that OpenAI as an organization in collaboration with Microsoft has developed since 2023. Those GPT models started in GPT 3.5 and then evolved, and then GPT-4, and now we are with GPT 4.0, and that's what you get through the interface, the chat interface that Copilot Chat represents. So when you go to Copilot Chat or you go to ChatGPT, what you are going is to a chat interface that is allowing you to have some communication with that large language model that I'm showing right here. And that's it. That's why the large language models has a date of training, right? Because all the knowledge in the world, at some point, they need to be consumed and compute so we can create the large language model, and that's the stamp date of that large language model. Of course, we have the ability, and you can see it right here in one of the corners, of using the web to augment the capabilities of that large language model. So we can say something like investigate on the web about, stock prices for today. And you are going to get live data, and you can use that to create a proposal or to create a formal review, or whatever you need to do. But then do we start to understand the pieces here? Future C levels, future D levels, or maybe you're already doing it at this point. But yes, first is a mechanism, a compartment, a big box of large language model, in where we have all sort of knowledge about humans. You enter a prompt, you get a completion that makes sense in a fantastic way. And you can amplify that through the web as well. So that's one capability. But then there is another two capabilities that you can get, which is when you have the same large language model. In this case, for now, is GPT 4.0, which is the most recent one. And then you get that, you have access to the web, but now you have access also to use it in your Office 365 applications. And also you can see and understand all your corporate data and use that intelligence to create whatever job activity that you have to do, creating new code, new programs, creating reports, creating summaries, creating proposals, doing comparisons, doing analysis, doing research, whatever you want from the data with your company. When they get to have the seat of Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is a pay version, they pay an additional amount to get that capability. Now you have this large language model embedded all around your Copilot suite. And you're going to see it in a second when I show the demo. But then imagine the power of that. Goes beyond asking general questions, asking general topics, knowing that information is coming from the public web, which is really powerful and valuable, right? And great that we have that capability. But it's a whole different story when we said that as leaders, we know now that any future company is going to have that companion in their way to do things. Your ability to integrate and relationate with all the corporate data as you need it. And that happens because of Microsoft Graph. And I'm going to explain that in a second later, just because it's one of the 4 points that is valuable to show off. But the first one here, what I'm looking for to land with this slide is precisely that AI as we know it is a large language models that react to our prompts. And that's why it's important to understand. Second point that is relevant, any company, any organization that is looking to transform the way that they do businesses, they need to provide these capabilities not to a few, not to just the leaders, not to just one business unit, to every single user, because the power, the return of investment that you get from generative AI, from these copilot capabilities, are precisely when the masses of the whole organization is unleashed and they can use their creativity, their capabilities, their own human thinking to start shaping what is it that we can get and facilitate and improve and take to the next level thanks to this generative AI technology. And that's super relevant because many times in software deployments, the common way to do it is in waves, right? So we have this new application that is really good and people want it. So we're going to go and we're going to give it to 10 and then to 100 and then to 500 and then we start growing the company. And if that has a cost associated, then budget needs to be planned out. And sometimes these are rollovers of 2-3 years in order to get the full deployment done. And that's great, right? Testing needs to be done. Quality assurance needs to be done. Many things needs to be done. However, with artificial intelligence capabilities amplifying your staff as a company owner, as a company leader, is not something that we can wait that long. The opportunity goes like that, right? It's happening now. It's now that users are starting to learn about this. It's now that people is really getting into it and managing to have it in their cell phones, in their tablets, in their computers, to use it for everything they do. It's now the momentum. If an organization do not provide that to their employees, the ones missing are really the organization, because you don't know what any of the roles in the organization can achieve, how legal can change the way that they operate and the velocity that supports take care of tickets for you, how well HR helps in an onboarding process, or how well a manager can do the performance review process every year. All of that can be improved, but when the technology gets released to everybody. That is the concept of democratization. When this technology was founded or made available in 2023, one of the first things that was observed is that this is not something that can remain in the hands of a few. That's why OpenAI was founded, in order to make an organization that offers free access to at least one of the models so people can use it in a limited way, but at least can use it to make queries, to study, to learn, to research. The same way, Copilot has a free version for every user that they can just go to Copilot chat and have the opportunity to use the capability there. Yes, this is so powerful, so relevant, that it's not appropriate to keep it only for a few. It's a tool that is being democratized, that everybody, every human being is going to have not only one, but many co-pilots or assistants that are going to be supporting us in many of the endeavors that we do in our personal lives and also in our corporate life. So everybody needs to have access to this technology. If you have kids in school, they are learning about these technologies, get involved, participate, collaborate with your school system. If they are trying to integrate this is the reality. It's something that, as the cars, are not going to be stopped in any way. And surprise, surprise, 13 years is not the amount of time that this change represents. We are already on the peak of the turnover that this is representing for many organizations that are looking for new talent and that are looking for new leaders as you that are preparing for that. I promise to explain the third point super fast, and using Microsoft Graph for it, what I want to explain is the security aspect. So You are a C-level. You are trying to see the CISO of a company, right? That's why we are here. You're going to be leading those organizations. And then when you hear about all these capabilities, all this potential, and then you are listening that all the corporate information is going to be then connected to Copilot, that may start raising security alerts in your mind, right? I mean, what is happening? What is going on? So this is super relevant, and with every customer that we talk about it is one of the main topics that is discussed, because Microsoft, for those that doesn't know it, is the number one security company in the planet. Actually, we are a security company by nature, and all the rest are services associated, but security is our business. And the way that security is managed in order to allow the large language model to use all your corporate data is thanks to a little tissue of technology called Microsoft Graph that lives in your Microsoft 365 ecosystem. So when you have all the automatic system and you have all the M365 capabilities, you get by default, is part of the process, the way it works, Microsoft Graph, and it learned through time all your relationships as a user with other persons in the company, with files that you create, with meetings that you take care, with assets that you just make available to others, what things that others make available to you, and understanding all that connection is what allowed Copilot to do that augmentation capability to understand the corporate data without compromising security at all. So that make it really different as well and really relevant when we understand it. Why we can say that it's secure? Because there is nothing new on that piece. Is inheriting the security that we already have in our very rewarded security systems. So Microsoft Graph is the key if somebody asks. And finally, the four academic point for today, and then we jump to do a few demos, is the concept of Microsoft responsible AI and the concept as a whole of responsible AI. Every model has the capabilities to complete every prompt that you submit to it. So can you use this kind of technology to generate fake news, to generate inappropriate images, to generate music that doesn't belong to you, to do things that maybe ask for instructions to do things that are not appropriate? I want to rob a bank and I want to get away from it, right? So that kind of concerns are being in the industry since the conception of the large language models. Because yes, if you use a non-commercial old version of large language models, as is not more than just a box of letters, and if you send an inappropriate prompt, if you build your own configuration, you can get something inappropriate. Yes, it is possible. And that's why in the commercial models, like the GPT family or so, right there is what we call the principles associated to that. So if you are using Microsoft Copilot Chat, or you are using Microsoft 365 Copilot, and I say it different just because Copilot Chat is only the user interface with what you can just talk to the large language model, even if you are not paying for any seat, right? We're going to use it later today, so you're going to see it. But that piece is what I refer to Copilot Chat. And Microsoft 365 Copilot is when you have it embedded into your Office 365 tools. We're going to see it later on. But when you use that, you cannot get wrong content. You cannot create something inappropriate. You cannot force the model to say something that is not correct. That is protected by the principles that you can see on the screen right there. And that's why that gives to every company that is using it, and honestly to every parent that is also allowing their kids to use this as a tool for learning, to be calm and more relaxed in the way that is protected by these principles. That's why you want to use an interface that is appropriate. So when we talk about what do we want to use, right? Copilot or ChatGPT, because they have to be kind of the same. GPT-4o is the model. Microsoft give $10 billion to OpenAI, so they are kind of partners, probably the same. It's true. Definitely, a lot of research happens because of that partnership. But something really relevant is that only Microsoft Copilot can offer you this native security connection to your work data. That is not something that any other company can offer. They need to build their own security system, and that is going to change the security aspects of any organization that is looking to adopt it. So that's the difference with something is personal to my personal use, or the other is when I am talking about my copilot in work, the one that is connected to everything that I own or somebody has shared to me and can help me create and do more stuff with that. So those are the 4 points that I wanted to go through it. Now, when we talk about using generative AI, the key of all the concepts to understand is doing a proper prompt, right? And then I'm going to ask in the chat, right? I want to see in the chat if we still have some activity right there. If you can describe what is a prompt, who can tell in the chat, and our moderators are going to be looking for you there, who can define what is a prompt using your own words, right? I mean, we don't need Copilot to define it. Try to define it with your own words. What do you think a prompt is? And then we're going to see our moderators working on that right there. And while we see that concept of prompt, I'm going to take you to this simple view that here in Microsoft, we call this the art of the prompt, because it is an art. Oh, it is an art, right? At the beginning, I remember when everything started with the GPT models and etc. in 2023, people started with the prompt engineering. And I thought that was cool. And I thought that I want to stick to it long time. But for some reason, that started to evolve and evolve and evolve. And now we have actually discovered that it's not even an engineer activity, it's an art. And in order to be successful as a leader, as a student, as whatever you're doing right now, you need to know how to do proper prompting. And why is that? Because we need to do a reset of our mind. For so long, we're being living in the time of the queries, right? That timing where you just put Seattle plus dinner plus sushi. And then you get, the list of many places, and you scroll down and scroll up, and then boom, you select something, and that's it. That's the way we are being doing, looks and research for a very long time using keywords. But that is long gone. Now we are back to the time of the natural language, in where every word counts. And I want to show you the 4 things that an prompt may have, right? They need to have a goal. They need to have context. They need to have the sources that you want to use. When you putting in perspective Copilot in a specific topic using a specific files for a specific date frame. Oh, that's really useful to provide as a sources. And of course, what is the expectations that you are having? So if I'm seeing this, let's explain it with a prompt, right? There is many ways to do prompting. And I want you to invite you to explore more about it, investigate about the train of thought kind of prompting. And I want to see somebody in the chat is kind of a geek and love to know those things, and you want to put it right there. I know that our moderators are going to be impressed to see that good level. So train of thought is one way of prompting. Single shot is another way of prompting. Role play is another way of prompting, in where you say to Copilot, hey, be my septic tank expert, right? Because you have an issue in your house, you need to fix something out. Then you want Copilot to act as an expert. Act as a lawyer expert. You just crashed your car, right? So you want to learn more and make some questions. Be my immigration counselor, right? That could be a way to go. Be my Python professor. Oh, role play is really, really powerful. So when we think about ways to do prompting, the good thing is that any prompt are gonna return something. So every prompt is good in conception, but can be better through time. So if I join to a meeting, it's late, I joined to a meeting and I said to Copilot, recap this meeting. Oh yes, it's gonna go to Teams and it's gonna recap the whole meeting for you. Really useful. Everybody's using it right now. But what if I tell to Copilot something more deeply? And I said, yes, recap this meeting. I was late to attend. and need a brief overview of the project timeline. So now Copilot knows that you were late, so he needs to be to the point in the response back. That's why it's important. Copilot knows that the part that you care more about are project timeline. If somebody said something about it, you want to know. But what if you even tell, hey, did Adele Vance propose any changes? So now Copilot knows that in that meeting that you were late, in where you are worried about the project timeline, Adele is a voice that you are listening. Probably that her is your boss, her is your stakeholder, her is the one leading the project here. So we want that. But what if we tell to Copilot and include the project timeline in a table and any proposes changes from Adele? So you can do these as a train of thought. And you do one and then the other and then the other and then the other. And it's going to work fantastic. It's going to take you a little bit more time to complete the whole cycle. But I'm telling you, sometimes it's even better because with every question, you allowed Copilot to keep growing in context. Everything that the Copilot responds back to you, anything that every large language model return back to you and is managed in the chat, he knows about it, right? So that helps with the overall context of what's happening. So your next question is better answered, and the next one, and the next one. Or you can send the whole thing as a single shot prompt. Is that what you like? So remember that, right? And if you are taking screenshots of anything from this presentation, I believe that learning this little trick, goal, context, sources, and expectations, they are not mandatory all the time. You can combine it, you can mix it up, but that's the idea. Those are the things that you want to tell the model in order to help you out. Okay, so now I want to show Copilot a little bit, so we can kind of play with it a little bit here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this to this screen, and I'm gonna go here to my notes right here, and here I have Copilot on the top. This is, by the way, this is the new interface, just brand new. So if you still don't have it, you will have it soon. Is getting better and better, and something that we want to keep in mind every time that we are using these kind of technologies is to be ready to what's next, right? And today we are not talking about certain areas in where Copilot is starting to excel. In that is agents. Agents represent all the abilities of the large language model that we just talked about, but we are just landing that language model with certain information that we wanted to become an expert on. For example, being a writing coach, being a prompt coach, being a researcher, being an analysis. These two are the last ones, agents that Microsoft released. So it's the same that Copilot, but it's being tailorized even more to be an expert of it. So imagine that you take this conversation and you start telling to this agent, hey, you are an expert data science mathematician, and you are going to be working on this and that, and you know about Python, and and then you start to describe a lot of things that is helping the model to understand what's to do. But that is just one conversation, right? So if you want to go back to that same level of responses and support, you need to or go back to that chat or start over. So now the option is let's create an agent, right? So the agent is going to know that, and you can feed it with more information when you want it, and you can share it with others as well. So you get to start tailorizing those really deep concepts that you need to have. But what I'm going to do right now is I am in the Copilot business. So let me just exit this. And I have that there. And then taking this here. And I'm going to take my first prompt here that we're going to be running. Okay. So I'm going to tell to Copilot I'm going to tell to Copilot this prompt. So let's take a second to consume it, right? I'm actually planning some weekly podcasts that we're doing with our Copilot specialists. So we are interested to do that. And I want Copilot to help me brainstorm 4 unique episodes, one per week, right? Because we do the podcast one per week. I want you to be tech savvy for business leaders. Each episode, I'm asking it to provide me some catchy title and 2, 3 sentences for me to see if I like it. And then if not, you can start talking with Copilot to improve it out. And then I want 3 or 4 key discussion topics that we can keep. We normally do the podcast around 12, 15 minutes. And the tone that we're looking to have is engaging and insightful. And I like Temelar TED style tech podcast format. So I'm telling that Copilot. That's absolutely fine to do. So I'm using Copilot here on the web. And you can see I have 2 options. I have work because I do have, as a Microsoft employee, my Microsoft 365 Copilot seat. And I also have the web. The web is the one that is only connected to the web, right? And is not able to see anything from my corporate data right there. So if you go to Copilot at any point during this conversation, you are probably going to see this. One thing that is super relevant is that both of them, even the web one, are enterprise data protected. That's really important. Even the chat version, the one that is not giving you access to your work data, anything that you look there, every file that you share with it, etc., is protected by your local Microsoft data protection policy. So that's great to have, right? So there is no risks whatsoever. So if I put my prompt right there, which is the same one, I'm going to use the web for this one, and I'm going to go here, and then Copilot is going to come and he's going to start completing that for me. And he's telling me, okay, what is the first episode? Rethinking the work in the age of AI, right? And some key topics that I can discuss right there. Episode 2, from the inbox to inside, Copilot Quiet Revolution. This sounds intriguing, right? I will probably attend that one for sure. And the new frontiers from business intelligence, part of what we're talking today. I kind of like it, right? I mean, I can go and say more things here and there if I wanted. As you can see, as prompting is so important, you are getting some prompts right here for you in order to use. And right here, you can view more prompts if you want it. So I like these questions about some marketing strategies for the podcast. So I'm going to do that. And while I'm doing this, because I like this research, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Word.new. For those that doesn't know this little trick, if you go to your browser and you put Word.new, if you have Microsoft 365, you are going to be able to create a Word document in OneDrive automatically, right? So this document called document 32 has been born on OneDrive, is on the cloud already, is auto-save. I don't need to worry about anything about that. And what I'm going to do is I like these episodes. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste that right here. Okay, I like that. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see what it says about the marketing strategies. And sometimes we don't take the time to celebrate the prompts. They are really complete many times in the ideas that give you. Right here is kind of giving me some of good indicators of what can I do for LinkedIn power channels, to be able to do newsletters, to offer exclusive content, etc. So I like this. I'm gonna just copy this response as well and have it right here. This is just like my, napkin. So I'm putting just notes and stuff that I like right there. And that could be, the investigation that I'm doing. I can design a launch plan. I can create calendars and I can do whatever else I wanted it to do. But what if, and I'm going to show you then, using Copilot, but now embedded into Microsoft 365. So for this, only people that are working in a company that has Microsoft 365 Copilot for work can use. If you have it already, take advantage. Learn how to use it. You are going to become super powerful. If you don't have it in your company, start inviting them to give you something like that, or look for a place that is going to give you that kind of amplification through technology tools. We all want that. So what I'm going to do here, for example, is, okay, I have my podcast, I have some ideas right there, but I want to ask Copilot to do something special for me. I wanted to write a persuasive value proposition to invite an special guest experts to participate on my podcast, right? So I'm not famous enough. I don't think I'm gonna bring enough people to it. So I want famous people to join us and come from different parts of Microsoft or elsewhere to be there. So I want Copilot to write that for me, but then I can add some content right here, and I can add the document that we just created, our document 32. So now Copilot is going to be writing that persuasive value proposition, but is going to know about what is it that we're looking for to do using that file. And then let's see what happens, right? He's gonna do what with that? So in front of your eyes, what you are asking start being created. And you can even create it again. If you want another version, you can have two versions of it, or three or four, and choose on that. So let's see how it builds the second one right here. That's another potential invitation that you want to there. You see two of two. I can come back to the previous one. I can go to the other one. I want to keep this one right here. But you can see how we are inviting the person, creating something that goes tailored to that, etc. In seconds only, we did that, and we have a new document for that. So last piece of the demo. What if I go to PowerPoint.new? And if you do Excel.new, it's also going to work, by the way. Free tip, you learn it just here in Microsoft Reactor. So if I am in a PowerPoint, and I wanna go and I wanna say create a new presentation with a file, right? And right here I can just go and select whatever file I want to use in order to create my presentation. But what I want to do is I want to go and tell to Copilot a little bit more and make my prompt more powerful. So create a presentation as a digital strategy leader. I wanted it to be an executive presentation with introduction, the introducing the new podcast series and all of that. And I'm telling the sections that I want on that. I want a section for the overview, the benefits, the impact. And I can do the same here, which is reference a file. I click enter before. So I'm going to reference a file. And if I go here, I can file, my document is 32, which is not showing there. When that happens to you, sometimes you just need to wait for OneDrive to update, but you can copy the link of the document that you want to use as a reference. Actually, the 32, the one that has more content. So I'm going to copy this one. Now I have it. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to paste it. Now I have my document 32, which is the one for the notes, not the 33, because this is only the invitation, so it's not much content there. And then boom, I tell to Copilot to go and be that digital strategy leader. And you see how the slides gets created in front of me for the sections that I told that I wanted it to have. I can even select if I want to use only images from my organization, or if we're okay to have any images from the Microsoft library, and then I can generate the slides and the whole deck gets created in front of me. So that's the power of Copilot there. You see it, right? As an assistant helping you create things, investigate things, research. You can open a huge document, a document that is so big. Maybe this one is not a good example, but a document that is really big, and you can open Copilot on the side, and this Copilot right here is going to help you understand anything from this file. For example, I can summarize this doc really quick, and then it's telling me that it's presenting a 4 podcast episodes idea focus on Microsoft Copilot for Tech Savvy Business. So you can use Copilot in order to consume any other file. And look at that, right? I was using Copilot here, but I have Copilot still working from here, from me right here. Of course, in PowerPoint it takes a little longer because even the notes for the speaker gets generated in every slide. So it's quite remarkable what we can get with Copilot. So what I want to do next is I want to make sure that you all, and you can see here the deck that gets created, all the images that we just got right there. I mean, how long will take you to get a first draft like this, right? How long will take us to build a guideline for us of the things that we do? See it now. Research, creating documents, whatever. If you like Harvard Business School, the formatting for your document, just tell it to Copilot and he will do that for you right there. So what I want to do now is I want you to use Copilot. So I will share this screen here again. So what I want us to do now is I will like you to get ready. And you see these two prompts right here? They are really long, right? And you don't have to do it exactly the same, but I just want to show you the power. So if you can on the side open a new tab and go to Copilot, right? If you go to Copilot on your tab, and you can log in there with any of your accounts that you may have. If you have a work account, great, great. If you have your personal account, then use that one. If you don't have any account, create it now. It's going to take you a couple of clicks for it. So I'm going to, allow a few minutes for you to be able to get into the Copilot interface that you can, being that on the web, being that on Teams, being that in your Windows environment, maybe, depending of what you have, what devices you have, what company you work with, the experience may be a little different. So find a way to get into Copilot. And once you are there, we are going to be asking Copilot to be an experimental designer. And he's going to create for us, as you can see on the prompt number 2, is going to create a set of images for us about an idea that we want. I want you to imagine this place that is only in your mind. Can be a restaurant, can be a cafe, can be a hotel, can be your own home, can be a cabana, can be something in a space, something in water, something. And then in the first prompt, you are telling to Copilot, and you see how, of course, we over exaggerated here with this prompt, but just to show that it's possible, you can inspire the tool using wording like this, right? You can make it get into the rhythm that you want, and then tailorize that a little bit, and then run the prompt number 2, in where you are going to ask Copilot to create the images, and you are going to provide some characteristics of whatever is in your mind. So you will replace that examples portion for something yours, something that is unique. Do you like Star Wars? Do you like Star Trek? Do you like Lord of the Rings? You can make it based on that. Whatever is it that is in your mind, create that image and please put it in our Reactor YouTube chat so we can see that for a second. Okay, there is a limit in the word chat. Somebody said there. Let me just go back to see. Yeah, you're going to be able to create it, no problem. So tell to Copilot that you are my designer, my expert photographer, and then ask them to create the image for you. And please share it with us if it's possible. I don't think it's possible in these chats to share images, but at least you are going to know about it, because I think we cannot see it here in the chat. Is only words. This experience is gonna allow you to start playing with that and have this image created for you. The task that I'm gonna be leaving you then, because we're not gonna be able to really see your images today, is to go and enjoy this full experience. Is a 1-hour experience that you can do with your family. It's a beginner level experience. You can start it in Microsoft Learn. Our team of moderators will put it in the chat. So I'm going to put it right there as well. So if you want, you can take this, and then this experience that we just started is this one right here, in where you are setting up Copilot in order to work with you to create images together. You are going to be defining that concept that you want, and it's giving you all the prompts that you need. You're going to be creating even music for your restaurant, a menu, many things. It's a really beautiful activity to do in family. It's going to take you, as I said, around 45 minutes, an hour to do it right. It's a lot of fun because through that you can see not only the power of Copilot, you can see the power of your imagination as the pilot. You can see the reaction of the kids when they see transforming in something visual the things that they vocalize and said, and that will definitely help everybody for that. That's all that I have for us today. It was great to have this conversation. Definitely something that we look is to have the opportunity for everybody to get amplified to the capabilities of Copilot. If you are planning to be relevant in the tech business, if you are planning to be a manager, a leader, that's why you joined today. You need to know this. This is the key. This is the tool. And actually, it's pretty convenient that is happening when we are alert. Our eyes are open. We are watching what is going on, and we are taking advantage of that today. I'm Victor Vargas from Microsoft. Happy to be here. I'm going back to you, Jacqueline, because I know you have some final information from our audience right here, but really happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much again, Victor. Oh, so sorry. I don't know. Okay. Thank you so much again, Victor. The session was amazing and the chat was very lively. So thank you again for your availability. Yes, for be with you in the session today. About the prompt, I don't know if you share in your LinkedIn, for example, and the participants here access it. Have the possibility for access this prompt where you present here for today. Yes. So, okay, everyone, last one, communicate here for share. Everyone, remember that we have your last session tomorrow, yes, about the AI 900 exam simulation, yes. Do not miss it because this is an opportunity for the practicing about the AI 900 exam, okay? So, thank you so much, everyone. So, we are waiting for you for tomorrow. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.